Today I'm in south-east London, more specifically Woolwich, near the Thames barrier. And along the banks of the Thames you'll find this. She's called the MV Royal Iris, and much like Wayne Rooney, she's from Liverpool and hasn't aged very well. She was launched in the 1950s as a Mersey ferry, the service that unsurprisingly operates on the River Mersey. She looked a lot different then. She was a green and kind of cream colour, and obviously she floated. She was a Merseyside icon, and wasn't just your average ferry. She was also a floating entertainment venue. She was known as the Love Boat and the Fish and Chip Boat, because on board she had a fish and chip shop, as well as a cocktail bar, a tea room, a dance floor, and a stage, which was used by the likes of the Searchers, Elvis Costello, Jerry and the Pacemakers, and the Beatles. In fact, in Sir Paul McCartney's 2007 song, That Was Me, he even references the boat. He sings, "Well, that was me, Royal Iris, on the river, Mersey beating, with the band, that was me." And the song Ferry Cross the Mersey, written by Jerry Marsden and performed by Jerry and the Pacemakers, was inspired by ferries like the Royal Iris. And it wasn't just musical royalty that could be seen on board the Royal Iris. In 1977, she carried Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip during the Queen's Silver Jubilee celebrations. In 1980, she was even used as the set for the ITV children's show The Mersey Pirate. But as the years went on, the Royal Iris began to fall into disrepair, and the cost of fixing her up and then maintaining her afterwards was considered too expensive. So in 1991 she was taken out of service and sold to a consortium that wanted to turn her into a floating nightclub. She was moved to a dock in Liverpool and repainted, but the plan didn't work out, and she was sold to another company that wanted to turn her into a floating nightclub, but this time in Cardiff. In 1993, the Royal Iris left the River Mersey and was towed down to Cardiff, but not before breaking free and smashing into a dock wall. Twice, and things only continued downhill from there. Once the Royal Iris arrived in Cardiff, the local council refused planning permission for the vessel to be used as a nightclub, and on top of that, the owners hadn't paid berthing charges. In 2002, she was towed to London, where she was due to be converted into, no surprise here, a floating nightclub. I suppose nightclubs that offered the slight risk of drowning were all the rage in the 90s and the early 2000s. Anyway, the Royal Iris is still moored in that same place today. By 2010, she'd begun taking on water, and she now sits marooned on the riverbed. There have been a number of attempts to buy her and return her to Merseyside in her former glory, but they've all fallen flat. So now the Royal Iris, the recognisable ferry that once hosted royalty and musical legends, is rotting away on a mud bank in London.